This video is the tutorial for the Chapter 1 project. When you open MyStatLab, you can look at the left side menu and we're looking for projects. If you click the project tab, you'll see that each chapter has an end of chapter project. So for the Chapter 1 project, we'll click the instructions. You will see instructions for the Chapter 1 project. A link to this video is also included. What's involved in this first project is to read an article that I provide for you, and once you read the article, you will be looking for specific information that has to do with the objectives from Chapter 1. So you'll be looking for things like the source of the data. You'll be identifying the population of interest and the sample mentioned in the article. You're going to list any qualitative and quantitative data collected from that article, and no matter which article you choose, there are examples of both qualitative and quantitative data, so make sure you give examples of both. You're going to list any descriptive statistics mentioned in the study, as well as inferential statistics mentioned in the study. You will also state the inference made in the study. You're going to identify how the data were collected. In other words, did the data come from a published source, a designed experiment, or observational data? Remember that observational data includes any surveys, polls, and questionnaires. So if the data is coming from a survey, poll, or questionnaire, that would be observational data or an observational study. You're going to critically evaluate the article by doing the following three things. In Part A, is the sample likely to be representative of the population? So if it is representative, that means it possesses characteristics that are typical of those possessed by the target population, and then give some explanation and to support your answer. Then you're going to comment on the ethics of the study. State existing or potential bias or error. Consider the three types of bias and error that we talked about in Chapter 1, those being selection bias, non-response bias, and measurement error. So be specific, don't just write selection bias. If you think there's selection bias in the article, then give specific examples of that type of bias. And finally, be sure to mention the reliability of the study, and so you'll be considering the sample size when you answer that question. Now, for all of these parts, you're going to be filling in a template reminding you of all of these, and that template can be found here on the left side menu in MyStatLab. So here, don't forget to include your article title so I'll know which grading rubric to use for your project. So include your article title, and then for question 1, this is where you're going to be writing the source. New York Times article already is one of the sources, but I want you to read through carefully in that New York Times article to find more specifically what journal was mentioned in that article, and that's the source I'm looking for here for question 1 on this template. Then you can write your population, your sample, your qualitative data examples, any quantitative data examples. Remember, you're going to have something in each list, even if it's only one item. No matter which article you're choosing, there are examples of both types of data. And it goes on to a second page here. So you can either fill this in a PDF form and scan it, send it back to me, or print it out, use your own pencil to fill it in, scan it with CAM Scanner and send it back to me. And I'll show you where you need to submit this in Blackboard in just a minute. Looking again over on the left side menu, here are the two articles. Option 1 is The Look of Love is in the Dog's Eyes, and option 2 is An Upbeat Emotion That's Surprisingly Good for You. So you might want to look at both of those articles, choose just one article. It doesn't matter to me which one you choose. So clicking the article, again, you will have the option to print it, or you can read it off the screen here. I think printing it is a good idea because then you can underline things, mark it up, make notes to yourself on the article of everything you need to fill in that template. Or you can simply just scroll through and read it here on the screen. The second option doesn't have as many pictures, but choose whichever one seems the most interesting to you. And then finally on the left side menu, here is the grading rubric. So you know exactly how I'm going to be grading this project, how to earn full credit. If you have everything that's mentioned here under the proficient column, then you'll be earning the full 10 points. If you're lacking something, something minor, then you'll get 5 points. If it's either missing or needs a lot of improvement, then you'll be getting at least 1 point for some effort. Now let's look in Blackboard to see how to submit the project. Again, looking at the left side menu, you can go to Submit Paper Assignments once you've completed filling in the template. And we're going to scroll down a little bit and look for Submit Chapter Projects. Chapter 1 project. And then you'll probably need to browse your computer to see where you saved your document, and then you'll be able to load that here and attach it. And if you have any questions or comments you need to ask me, you can include those here in the text box. Once you've attached your completed template, then simply press Submit. Since I'm not submitting anything, I'll just press Cancel to go back to the home page here. So I hope you found that helpful for the Chapter 1 project tutorial.